Hey, good evening, everyone. We'll get started in 2 or 3 minutes here. Thanks for joining. All right, good evening, everyone. Thanks for attending. I'm showing 6:01 on my side. So why don't we get started here? Again, thank you for joining. This is a public information session for our Title V renewal application at our Linden Sunoco terminal. Just by way of background, my name is Joe Massaro. My role here at Sunoco is lead specialist in the public affairs team, and I've been with the company for 5 years. Along with myself, I will have Michael Paraskevas, who's our senior manager for terminal operations at our Linden terminal. We'll also have Tim Rossler, who's the manager of health, environmental, and safety here at the terminal. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to engage in dialogue with the public regarding the environmental impacts of the facility. We'd like to receive and respond to community concerns regarding any impacts, provide information on the specific air quality permit renewal and impacts to the environment. I want to make sure everyone knows that no changes or new emissions have been requested in the permit renewal applications at our Linden terminal. Other items to note for tonight's meeting: it is being recorded. Any questions and/or comments received will be documented and addressed following the meeting. We'll plan to conclude the meeting 15 minutes after last comment from the public is received. So a few rules of engagement for tonight's meeting. All participants are asked to remain muted unless called upon for comment. You may indicate that you have a question or comment by raising your hand or entering it into the chat box. When commenting or asking a question, please share your name and hometown. Your email address will be recorded from registration. Please feel free to provide any additional contact information in the chat box. Sunoco will respond to all comments and questions in writing after the meeting has been completed, and those comments will be available on the New Jersey DEP website. And if you want to send comments after this meeting, contact information is below here. Sunoco Linden at sunoco.com is the best email address. So just a quick agenda for tonight's meeting is here below. And again, we'll wrap up 15 minutes after the last public comment is received. So at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Michael, again, our senior operating uh, senior manager at the terminal, who will give a brief overview of Sunoco. Go ahead, Michael.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mike Paraskevas, as Joe said. The senior manager in Linden, New Jersey. I oversee 6 other terminals throughout the East Coast with Sunoco LP. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of the terminal and a couple of the other slides. So Sunoco is a leading independent fuel distributor in the U.S. and internationally, specializing in distribution of motor fuels, lubricants, and other petroleum products. With a presence across 40 states, Sunoco supplies fuel to over 10,000 locations, including independently operated convenience stores and fuel stations under recognized brands. The company operates 113 terminals and manages over 10,000 miles of pipeline, as shown on the slide. At the Linden facility, Sunoco runs a bulk storage terminal split into 3 distinct sections, each with its own Title V operating permit. The facility plays a key role in distributing refined products throughout the East Coast by marine vessel, truck, and pipeline. It operates with 35 employees, including 22 union members. On this slide, in the orange highlighted, is just east of the New Jersey Turnpike is our truck rack terminal. Adjacent to that, to the right in the green, is the inland facility. And connected 1 mile away in the yellow is our marine facility, which is located on the Arthur Kill River across from the Staten Island. Linden supports our local community by being an annual sponsor of the Fire Prevention Week to the Linden Fire Department. We also sponsor a first responder fund to support first responder organizations to ensure safe operations and emergency promptness. In addition, we offer scholarship awards to high school seniors exploring education in the fields of industry, process technology, computer science, or engineering.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Hello, I'm Tim Rossler. I'm a manager of health, environmental, and safety for the Sunoco Linden terminal, as well as a number of other assets in the Sunoco's portfolio. I'm here to talk about the air permit information for the 3 subject Title V permits. As you can see on the top line there, we have 3. It's the marine, the inland, and the rack, as Mike explained. All 3 of these Title Vs were approved in the early 2000s, in 2002 and 2003, and they've been subsequently renewed ever since that point. The most recent renewal applications for the inland and the rack terminal went in 2021, and the most recent marine renewal went in 2017. There's one thing to note there is that another renewal was due in 2022, but the NJDEP's policy on additional renewals, if your current renewal hasn't been processed, is that they just keep the previous one. So that's why it says 2017. Operating permits are required to be renewed every 5 years and are able to operate under a permit application shield, provided an administratively complete application is submitted. So basically, once these applications are submitted, the DEP does a cursory review. If it's found to be administratively complete, we're issued a shield that we're allowed to operate under until the permit is renewed. Joe, next slide. Joe, can you hit the next slide, please? Excuse me one moment. Sorry about that. Joe had an internet connectivity issue, and he's going to be pulling the slides back up again. We apologize. He had to drop off for there for a second. He's in control of the slide deck. So it'll just be a minute. Apologize. I'm in. There we go. Just all right, folks. Sorry about the delay there. We're back. So for air permit information, the currently permitted emission sources, as you can see, there's a photo of our marine terminal at the bottom of the screen. The marine terminal consists of 6 internal floating roof tanks storing gasoline or distillate products. And when I refer to distillate products, I'm referring to either diesel fuel, heating oil, or jet fuel. There are 2 large fixed roof insignificant source tanks storing distillate, as well as 2 controlled and uncontrolled barge and ship loading docks for gasoline and distillates. If you see that there's 3 ships or 3 vessels there, the one all the way to the left is actually not our dock. It's the one in the center and the one to the right. The other sources there are fugitive emissions from equipment components such as valves or pumps. Next is the inland terminal, which the photo is on the bottom left. There are 16 internal floating roof tanks storing gasoline or distillate. There's also 1 diesel fire pump, which is used and it would be used in the event of an emergency, as well as fugitive emission sources from equipment components similar to the marine terminal. The rack terminal, which is located the photo on the bottom right, consists of 12 internal floating roof tanks storing gas or distillate, 1 large fixed roof insignificant storage tank storing distillate, 1 controlled truck loading rack for gasoline and distillates, and then 4 fixed roof petroleum additive tanks, which is the additives that go into your fuel for combustion, as well as 1 oil water separator and a contact runoff tank, a diesel fire pump similar to the inland terminal, and then various small insignificant sources supporting facility utilities such as heaters, boilers, and small fuel storage tanks. And the rack terminal also has fugitive emission sources as well. So Sunoco has and maintains 3 air emission control devices that reduce VOC emissions from the truck rack and the barge and ship loading docks. There are 2 vapor recovery units which control VOC emissions from the truck loading by converting the VOCs back into a liquid product. So it takes the vapors that are displaced during loading from trucks and turns it back into gasoline, as well as 1 vapor combustion unit which controls VOC emissions from the barge and ship loading docks. All of these control devices are highly efficient at reducing VOC emissions from loading operations and are equipped with real-time continuous emission monitoring systems. So each facility has been assigned what they call a potential to emit in tons per year by the state, by the NJDEP. The reason why they are Title Vs is because they have the potential to emit of a particular criteria pollutant that you see here on the left-hand side of greater than 25 tons, and the main one being volatile organic compounds. So as you can see, the marine terminal has a higher PTE than both the inland and the rack terminal. The marine terminal also has a higher potential to emit of nitrogen oxides, and carbon monoxide because it has a vapor combustion unit as well. And then the inland and rack terminal have small amounts of other criteria pollutants for the various utilities. There are no new emissions that have been requested in the permit renewal applications that Joe had said earlier, but there are a couple of administrative changes that we're looking to do. One is to add new hazardous air pollutant emission limits based on reporting thresholds that have changed in the New Jersey regulations, as well as removing hazardous air pollutants that we are no longer stored or handled at the terminals. And then we have some small revisions in the loading rack throughput for distillates that needs to be incorporated as well. So this slide displays our historical 5-year average emission in tons per year. As you can see, VOCs are volatile organic compounds is the highest emitted criteria pollutant, with the marine terminal having a significantly higher amount than the inland and the rack terminal. I didn't put it in here, but overall our 5-year trend is going down. Our emissions have decreased over 20% in the 5-year period. Thank you.
All right, thanks everybody for bearing with our technical difficulties there. Before we wrap up, just a couple more slides. I just want to say, we are proud to be part of the Linden community, and we're happy with the work that we do to supply a lot of demand for the critical fuels that make everyday life possible. I just want to say, renewing this Title V permit would allow for the continued distribution of gasoline, diesel fuel, heating oil, and jet fuel to the northern New Jersey and New York metro areas. It would allow for the continued efficient distribution of petroleum products via pipeline and marine vessel to the Northeast and Midwest. Allow for the continued work for local employees and contractors, and also the continued tax revenues and community support from our Linden terminal. Now, just again, please raise your hand in the Teams or type your question in the comment chat box. And as a reminder, we will wrap up 15 minutes after last comment or question is received. And if you'd like to reach us outside of this Teams meeting, the email here will be taking comments as well. Sunoco Linden at sunoco.com. And then they will be available on the New Jersey DEP website at a later date. Appreciate everyone's time, and we look forward to your questions and comments. Everyone, just want to hop back on and just give you a reminder. We will wrap up 15 minutes after the last comment or question is received on our end. And again, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to unmute yourself, ask away. You can also type it in the chat box. And then if you don't want to do it here tonight, you can email us at sunocolinden@sunoco.com, your question or comment, and we will be responding to those, and those will be made available on the New Jersey DEP website. Thanks again. All right. Thanks everybody for joining the informational meeting tonight. We're going to wrap it up here. Again, if you want to give any comments or ask any questions, you can do so at the email on the slide. It's sunoco.linden@sunoco.com. We will continue to monitor that email and respond to any comments or questions that we get. And those, again, will be available on the New Jersey DEP website. Thank you again for your time tonight. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.